This guy became viral when he shared publicly, of course that's what you do in 2018 on Twitter, that Apple computers have this little bug where you can literally type in root and gain administrative access using very, very simple commands, not even you don't even have to open the terminal. So what happened was, of course, he tweeted about it, and as a result, very briefly, Apple's shares dropped. So that's the kind of guy he is. But I'll just say that he's one of the nicest and warmest people you can listen to and meet. Today, Lemi Orhan is our keynote speaker, and he will reveal to you how to slow down to go faster than ever, which basically means how to empower your dev teams to reach their maximum productivity, their maximum efficiency. It's the agilest of all agile keynotes. So please welcome Lemi Orhan with the warmest of applauses.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. It's amazing to be here again. Last year, I guess, I was here. I met very great people, so I saw a few of them. So it's a great pleasure. Thank you. Thanks a lot for having me again. So throughout my career, I collected many stories, like the Apple bug stuff. So not all of them are very exciting like this. However, I really loved some of them. So I have to share the one at the beginning. So in 2011, I was working at Sony Europe's development team, and I joined a team of 11 developers. The team was responsible for building a global marketing website. And my real responsibility is to develop features as fast as I can, because I was the senior developer. So we call developers senior because they are developing faster than others, right? So that's why I have to rush, because business is pushing the development team a lot, and it seems I can be the cure, right? So I can build faster than others. So I joined the team. Then after working few months, I realized that every attempt to add new feature, we destroy the stability of the whole system. So it seems we really try to improve the infrastructure and the code base. However, at every attempt, something fails. So at some point, we start to just fix the bugs and nothing else. And it seemed to me that rewriting the whole stuff is a must. So I called the product manager. He was living in Belgium. I called him and said, hey, we have to rewrite it from scratch because it's a total mess. Now we cannot live with it any longer. So if you want to push features as fast as you can, so we have to rewrite it from scratch. And after 30 seconds of silence, I remember this because I thought that the connection is gone. So after 30 seconds of silence, he said that, hey, let me just make me clarify. So you are saying that this team builds this product in such a bad way that the same thing has to rewrite the same product again. So you should have written better. So that is unacceptable. He was right. At that time, I started to realize that what business expects is not rushing, is not pushing features to the production as fast as we can. They're expecting a sustainable tempo, sustainable pace, and sustainable speed, and controlled quality, not as fast as we can. So later on, I try to identify the points that we can slow down to go fast. So in this talk, I would like to share the points that we need to slow down, take a deep breath, make investment on it, then to go fast. Okay. Just a small introduction. I'm from Istanbul. I'm the founder of Software Craftsmanship Turkey, which is a community of that organizes events. And I've been coding since 2001, and I love coding. I love programming, and my main aim is to improve the culture of software development in my team and in the organizations. So, so in software world, speed is always critical. So if you are a startup, you have to be fast because you have to be on the market as fast as you can to get the big part from the pie. Also, you have to be fast to resolve the issues on production or on the code base. So because that's a matter of customer satisfaction. So speed is always important. However, we have a real big problem with speed. So when we start to talk about speed, first we identify deadlines. So when we put deadlines on a feature, on a development, we think that we can be fast, we can be productive. However, it is the opposite. Also, generally we think that adding more people to the teams and working more resolves the speed issues. So you can be faster when your team is bigger and you do overtime. Rushing destroys everything. Rushing destroys your productivity. Rushing neither makes you faster or efficient, and also your focus, it destroys everything. So rushing is the opposite of focus. Therefore, we have to stick that point to our mind because we will revisit it again. Okay? And we have to admit, the nature of software development is interesting because it is hard and it is complex. We cannot resolve it. We have to live with it. So any attempt to rush makes your software even more complex. So makes it more unstable. You create unsustainable environment. Therefore, it makes even worse. So you hear the deadline stuff and team capacity. Many people calculate the team capacity, right? Velocities at Scrum, and master plans, and estimations. You collect estimations. Those are imaginary terms. They are imaginary, but incompetency is the reality. So software is built by people, by us, and if we are competent, we can handle all cultural issues if you can go systematic. However, in reality, we stick to those imaginary terminology by heart, and we forget that people really build products. So at the end of the day, we will have a legacy software. I really don't like the term legacy because I guess the legacy term, the word, is used negatively just in software development, right? I really love the terminology, it's zombie software. So zombie software, they are there. It's dead already. Naturally, it is a dead living. It sucks your blood, your life energy, the developer's life energy to be running on production. So I can show you a very small part of your code, which is literally legacy. I can show you, okay? Now, this is a legacy code, 100% legacy, pure legacy software, a zombie code. So why I'm sure? Because it's running perfectly. hey, it's running perfectly, it is already deployed to production, and it has unit tests. And all the automated tests are there, and they are running perfectly. How come we can call it legacy? It smells really bad. It smells horrible. So let's check it. So the method is called validate package. Validate package means it needs to validate a package if it's null or empty. So, okay. And so I encountered this code while I'm browsing the code base at Sony. And I was scrolling down the classes, and I looked at it, and I looked at it for 5 minutes, and I tried to realize what is wrong with that code base. What's wrong? So let's see. So first, a message string is created as null, and if package is null, we assign package is null string to the message string, and if it's empty, we assign package is not valid to the message object, okay? If message object is not null, it means we have a problem, then we throw in runtime exception. Then we catch it immediately. If we catch it, it means we have a problem, and we return false. And other than that, we return true. It works perfectly. However, it smells horrible. So what I did is I deleted all the code, I rewrote it, and I used logger here to log the actions, and I then realized that there's no real need for logging, so I removed the logging, and the whole method just converts to one line of code. So the previous one, the initial code, is like the scratches on Apple. So people sell apples after collecting from trees, not from the ground, because when apple falls down to the ground, if you allow apples to fall down to the ground, there exist stitches on the apple and points, some bad points, and then in few days it starts to rot from that point. So you have to collect from the tree, not from the ground. So code base is like that. If you allow this code to live there a long time, you can realize that your whole code base starts to rot from that point. Okay, and Robert C. Martin has a perfect quote about it. If your software is getting harder and harder, it means you are doing something wrong. So yes, we have to understand what is the real problem here. So according to myself, slowing down is the only option to go fast. So we have to control the speed, and we have to create a sustainable pace, sustainable speed, control speed while developing features. So I divided the whole points into 3 main sections. One is about people. We have to improve professionalism and craftsmanship in our culture. The second one is the process. So we have to improve adoption, capabilities, and then efficiency, of course. And the third one is the products. We have to improve our quality, the quality of software and the automation. So I created 11 different points, and I will try to show you one by one to you, okay? So the first one, the very first one, it is very, very important, because you can call it human resources, or I can call it talent hunters or headhunters. I don't care how you call it, but those guys are the most important people of your company. Yeah, because the talent hiring process might be the most important process you have to think about, because at every attempt, every action of that unit, your company's culture will change gradually. So they shape your organization. Every people adds something to the culture of your team. Therefore, we have to improve it. We have to make it better and better every day. So we have to hire high-quality talents, but how we can distinguish from other people? So I can call it, if you are motivated, disciplined, and passionate, most probably you are a good talent. So it is really important to be egoless. You should not allow ego to enter your team, to enter the doors of your company. So it can be a genius jerk. If it's a genius jerk or lovable fool, you should not allow these guys to enter your team. You should allow smart people with passion, hungry of learning stuff, and motivation and discipline. And the second one is we have to improve ourselves. However, we know a few points. So remember your first day in a company. When you go to a company, when you join, you know almost nothing about the code base, about the process, about anything in your new role. Then you start to learn, but the whole flow is so inefficient. It may take weeks, even months, to be productive. So you have to do together. You have to share knowledge from one to another efficiently. So pair programming and mob programming is very critical here. So it's like for the last 3 years, I've been doing pair programming, and most of them is full-time pair programming. I mean, we go to restroom together, we eat together, we drink water together, because if you drink water together at the same time, you can organize your time to restroom time, rest time, and everything together. And because we need sharing, we need two brains to create high-quality stuff. Also, mob programming is very important, especially if someone joins to your team. It's a full-time activity. It can be a full-time activity, but I really get advantage of it when someone joins to my team. I spend a week or 2 weeks just to do mob programming. I mean, programming with a team, one computer, and a whole team coding together. Okay. And the third one. So our responsibility as a developer is performing in the working hours. We are expected to perform like a musician. However, we have to improve our skills. But when we can find time for improving our skills, according to managers or human resources people, they think that we have to spend our private time, our time at home, to improve our stuff. But that's wrong. That's wrong. My team spent almost more than 20% of their time by improving their skills. How they can improve? They watch videos, conference videos, and they listen podcasts, they read articles, and they practice together. Code Retreat is a very important do-together practice. For one day, you experience TDD and pair programming. If you are not used to it, you should give it a chance and organize a code retreat in your company. And also, you should. So, for every month, we organize a coding dojos in my company. That is the only way to gain new skills without practicing. If you just read or just watch videos, you cannot improve your skills. So you have to practice again and again. So also sharing your knowledge is important. You know silos? Silos are the guys that knows everything, and everyone just, if someone needs to ask a question or if there's a bug, everyone goes to that guy and asks the question where is the problem? And he thinks a little bit and says, look at that part, because 5 years ago I wrote there, so it seems the problem is there, and you find the problem. So those guys are hero developers. They know everything, and they save companies' life again and again. At nights, they wake up, and they save the company. They open new pods, they redeploy the stuff, they fix, and without testing, they send to production, everything resolves. So those guys are dangerous. You have to kill that silo people. Silo. So by nature, naturally, silos can happen. So knowledge is like a dam, you know. Knowledge can come together on one guy, and then the only thing that you can be more skilled is asking a question to that guy, because those guys, they are not really happy to share their knowledge. So what we are doing is, since 2010, for 6 years, every week we organize lunch and learn sessions. Every Wednesday, someone in your team talks about something technical, something non-technical, from time to time, of course, but it shares something. It's like a meetup in your organization every week. So it means every single employee in your team becomes a speaker, even though speaking is hard, I know, but that's the only point to improve ourselves, by sharing the knowledge. Also, we organize an interesting meeting. We call it Grand Retrospective. For the ones who apply, who do Scrum, knows the retrospective thing. The Grand Retrospective is about collect every single people in your engineering or development team and do a 3 hours retrospective for every quarter and get feedback. I organized for a kind of 10 times with around 30 or 40 people, and believe me, we changed the way of our organization. We changed, we created new rituals, we even reorganized the office structure after those meetings. So those meetings are really, really important. So those actions are important for learning together. So please give a chance to learn together and organize it without any hesitation. Also, change happens all the time, and we are not perfect. People are not perfect. Even the output of people, the code base, the analysis, even requirements, even business people, no one is perfect. Therefore, we are giving wrong decisions every time. We write code base with bugs, but we love our code. Like if you do cooking, I mean, I do cooking and I love the stuff that I make because I do it. It's like developers really love their code, what they write, but believe me, nothing is perfect, and planning, so plans are nothing. So plans always fail, but planning is everything, because every day, or more than once every day, you have to reorganize your planning, your plans. So you can remember a daily scrum, daily stand-up, or daily alignment. So if it's once in a day, you might be in trouble, because once a day is not enough. You have to adapt your plan more than once a day. So you have to be in connection with your teammates very closely. You have to know what the others are doing pretty closely. Also, if you feel that something goes wrong in your organization, in your team, in the product, or in business, the first thing you should do is visualizing the flows. So visualizing might be the first step for fixing the issues. So without visualizing, you really cannot understand, cannot notice what the problem is. So you can see Scrum boards, Kanban boards, those dashboards, they are all there for identifying the problems, not for showing that everything is going well. So those are the information radiators. And when you look at your metrics in your Kubernetes cluster, you should see the problem right there. The diagram should show you the problem. The problem should be obvious. So everything is designed, every visualization is designed to show you the problems. And waste. Waste is something that you produce without any business value. So waste is in everywhere, my friends. So they are on your desks, they are in your code base, they are in your processes, they are everywhere, and they destroy your productivity. And I love the Boy Scout rule. So in the Boy Scouts, leave a place after cleaning those areas. So you find the place even cleaner after Boy Scouts leave. So in software development world, when you open a class or a coding file, a file, and for doing some stuff here, and you notice there's a crying. So the lines above, they are crying. There's a bad smell there. And you should fix that immediately. So Boy Scouts fix bugs immediately. So do not postpone it. That is one of the most important cultural points to improve ourselves. Also, long-living branches are evil. In this conference, I will have a second session about Git anti-patterns, and let me give you a teaser. Long-living branches are evil, and you have to get rid of it. So there are many ways to get rid of it. I will describe later on. Also, developers document a lot. Every single character you enter to the computer is a document, by the way. Your code base, your test class, your commit message, even the commit graph. Because the other guy sitting next to you opens the commit graph and tries to identify what the hell is going on in that place. So why my commit has gone? Why someone deleted my code? So he tries to identify the problem. So if someone looks at it, it means that's a documentation and it should be good. I mean, we have to improve our skills there. Okay, so we are rushing a lot to put new features to the system. However, without improving our code base, it's impossible to be agile. Okay, so we have to take a deep breath and fix those damn bugs. Because from time to time, we stop the full production line and fix the bugs for weeks, because in such a bad environment, you cannot even apply your Scrum pretty well, because quality is always a must to be a truly agile, to make a truly agile environment. Also, pull requests they just stop the line to make it high quality, because people look at the pull request, statistical analysis run, and your pull request, they deploy it to CI server, and your functional test run. You stop the production line by pull request. You take a deep breath. You slow down the system to improve the code quality. Also, you should not allow any single time without doing code review. If it's not reviewed yet, it should not be deployed to production. Never, ever. Okay? And our ultimate goal should achieve continuous delivery. And releasing frequently is a must. So if you're releasing to production once a week, once a month, once a 6 months, I encounter such cases, no way. You should release frequently. But how frequent it should be? Of course, it's up to the dynamics of the sector. However, from my point of view, it should be more than a day. So it should be more than a day. Then the whole dynamics of software development changes. It is impossible to deploy to production more than once a day without improving your continuous integration processes. That's why you should always focus on the SDLC flows first, your branching models. For example, I've been doing trunk-based development for years with monorepo, and I will describe it just later on. So, I'm doing TDD for years, and many people ask me, it slows you down. It's slow, man. So I can easily write it down in 5 minutes, but you have to write tests first, and you should not compile it first. Then it's slow. And Joe Reinsberger answers it very smartly. So he says, yes, if you feel that it slows you down, it means you probably need slowing down. So TDD is a great practice to slow you down to improve your infrastructure design and internals of your system. So, so stop calculating code coverage. Yeah, I know, we love code coverage numbers. So have you ever achieved 100% code coverage before? 100%. I achieved. At eBay, for a 3-month project, I was alone. And I have no deadlines. I had no deadlines at that time, and I decided to achieve 100% code coverage. I did my best, and I achieved. I tweeted, and my posture has changed. I mean, I'm looking at people, poor little developers, you are not doing 100% code coverage, but I did, and I'm always mentioning in the dialogues. Then, at UAT, four issues were created. 4 features were not working properly. And that destroyed my reputation at eBay at that time. However, I then realized that 100% code coverage is nothing. So by TDD, the test that you write creates the design. So you design by tests. However, afterwards, if you want to validate more, you can add new tests afterwards, but those tests will be brittle, and you may need to delete them during refactoring, because refactoring is a must. So, we love microservices, right? I love the terminology microservices because everyone does it, because I am always working on the architecture, the ultimate architecture, the whole software development team works. So this is the diagram, application interaction diagram that I wrote a few months ago. It's a hell. It's a dependency hell. Microservices, we created a kind of 10 microservices for 1,000 concurrent users. Hey, there are like few lines of code living there. We try to scale it. However, we are going down in production again and again because any attempt to deploy to here have impact on there. Of course, there are many patterns in my microservices. Most probably, the guys developed this infrastructure may failed. However, why don't we start by a monolith before creating microservices? So let's start it monolith and continue to microservices to let it evolve gradually. And do you remember this diagram? That's a hexagonal architecture diagram. It's a hexagon, so you can call it ports and adapters. Robert C. Martin had a book, Clean Architecture, a perfect book about it. And we try to identify that why don't we create monoliths in this architecture? So the main advantage of this architecture is keeping your main business logic agnostic to frameworks. Imagine a framework agnostic area that you can code it. I mean, don't you feel that we are not a developer anymore? We are a Spring developer. We are a framework developer. The frameworks are the heart of our software, and we don't use patterns anymore. We use managers, controllers, handlers, and repositories. We always do the same thing again and again, and no one cares about patterns anymore. However, we should care, and we should prepare a safe area to care. So the port part, the business part, so the adapters contains the implementations of third-party areas. They are the gates. And the port part is the safe area that you can build your business model by using your skills. Okay? And even you can have components there. You can have a search component. You can have a notification component. You can build an order, a basket, and a mailing, an account in a monolith. And later on, you may need to scale it up, because mailing needs more resources. You have to scale it up. So what you need to do? If you're doing in such a way that, of course, it's not the only solution for implementing a monolith, but what I experienced is pretty good. So if you think that account component or mailing component need to scale up, then you can, since the organization of your code base is such designed efficiently that you can take it away. Take it away to a new microservices. Then the other microservices. Then the other one. So yeah, this one is a kind of big monolith or a smaller monolith. However, it's a monolith, but you don't need to scale it. Main part is keeping your design simple. So elegancy is the enemy. So simplicity should be the ultimate aim for even our architecture. So any decisions made before it is really required is totally wrong. You can call it Yagni or the last responsible moment, whatever you call it. You should have real needs for scaling, for implementing microservices. Also, 4 rules of simple design is a kind of mandatory while doing our programming. So anyway, I collected all of them. I described 11 points that we have to slow down. So let's remember each of them one by one. About people, we should have a deep breath, and we should hire better talents. We should organize our whole process about it. We should do together, practice together, and learn together. So that is a must according to my expertise and the wisdom that I have. And also about the processes, we have to plan and revise often as frequent as possible, and we have to collect data and analyze. We have to give decisions according to data, not our good feelings, and we have to eliminate waste. We have to detect the waste first and eliminate it later on. And about the product, we should push the defects down in order to be agile, to be real agile. And we have to release frequently. Without releasing frequently, it is impossible to create a continuous delivery cycle. And test first and refactor. Unit tests are important. However, if you're writing your unit test after your production code, most of the time you create useless tests. So that's a breaking point. Create enough tests and you use your all skills to write efficient tests. And focus on simple design, not only on the code base, but also on the internal design and infrastructural design. Okay. One last tweet I read a few years ago just touched my heart. You know, I couldn't have said a better sentence. So Andreas, I don't know him. I hope I can meet at some point. He said, "I don't want to write code that just works. I want to write code that is clean, maintainable, easy to understand, well-tested." Hey, that is the real aim of slowing down to go fast. So working software does not mean it is a well-crafted software. And only good professionals build well-crafted software, only the good ones. And only well-crafted software lets you build faster than ever. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
Okay.